Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Wednesday, May 17th, 2023. Today, NBA playoffs, MLB, soccer, golf, Masked Singer Survivor, the NBA lottery, news and notes, and best bet. We'll start the NBA playoffs. We'll go over the results from last night's epic Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals. Look ahead to tonight's Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Nuggets over the Lakers, 132-126. It was an epic game, as I said at the top. The over easily hit. Nikola Jokic was easily the best player on the court. 34 points, 24 boards, 14 assists. He was outstanding. He got everything he wanted against Anthony Davis. But Davis quietly, well, really isn't quietly, but it's not getting talked about. He had a 40-10 in this game. And LeBron was amazing, too, as he had 26, 12, and 9, and assists shy of a triple-double. And if you're the Lakers, you got to feel good coming out of Game 1, weirdly enough. You came back and fought. You could have stolen that game. That brutal turnover at the end of the game pretty much cost them. And then they tried Hachimura on Jokic, and it seemed to have worked, and that allowed the Lakers to get back in the game. So if I'm the Lakers, your starting five for the next game to change, I would put in Hachimura instead of Schroeder, and you have Schroeder come off the bench. And then the bench would be Schroeder, Vanderbilt, and Lonnie Walker. But I would explore Austin Reeves coming off the bench as the sixth man. I would explore it. It's like Maxey on the Sixers. Sometimes it's just better off. The Knicks were in that spot with Josh Hart. The Celtics are doing that with Malcolm Brogdon. Sometimes it's just better off to have the better player come off the bench. But I don't think that they will explore that. And in Denver, outstanding performance from Jokic. All the starters were in double digits. Michael Porter Jr. hit some big shots. He looked like the guy that Denver's always fantasized him to be. KCP played well. Jamal Murray, 31, 5-5 of 5 fouls. Bruce Brown off the bench was pretty good. But Denver's bench needs to be better if they are to advance past the Lakers. I'm sorry. Denver's bench has to be better. So the Lakers, they did lose the game, which is ultimately what matters here. They have a lot to feel good about going into the game, too. And Denver, I think, has some things to work on. Okay, Game 1, Eastern Conference Finals tonight, 8:30 TNT, Heat Celtics. My projection is Celtics 8.5, total 223 and 19/20. And the Boston Celtics are giving 8. The total is 211. This is another overplay. This is banking on the Celtics carrying over their offensive success from Game 7 into this one. Miami hits a couple threes. I like the over. I think the spread is just about right. At gunpoint, I say Miami probably covers, but I do think this ultimately goes over the point total here. So it should be a good game tonight. And these conference finals are just going to be outstanding. And we don't have hockey tonight. We'll resume hockey talk tomorrow as the Eastern Conference Finals will get underway. All right, Major League Baseball. We'll go over the results from last night and look ahead to today's games. Orioles over the Angels 7-3. Tigers over the Pirates 4-0. Marlins over the Nationals 5-4. Yankees over the Blue Jays 6-3. Red Sox over the Mariners 9-4. Big win for Boston. Rays over the Mets 8-5. Brewers over the Cardinals 3-2. Rangers over the Braves 7-4. Astros over the Cubs 7-3. White Sox over the Guardians 8-3. Reds over the Rockies 3-1. A's over the D-backs 9-8-12 on a walk-off infield single by Yesturi Ruiz, so not a good loss for Arizona. Royals over the Padres 5-4, so best bet does not win. Giants over the Phillies 4-3, Twins over the Dodgers 5-1. So today's games. At 1 o'clock on MLB Network, you have the Pirates at the Tigers. You have Rich Hill and Eduardo Rodriguez. Tigers minus 172, Pirates plus 144, over under 7.5, overs minus 118, unders minus 104. Pittsburgh plus 1.5 is minus 152, Tigers minus 1.5 is plus 126. The Tigers, low-key, only 2 games under 500. Is that like a sneaky bet to win the AL Central? That's something I might consider for the portfolio next week. Maybe. So the bet here is going to be on Eduardo Rodriguez to continue to perform well. So I'm going to go under 3 Pirates runs at plus 104. 3 o'clock, you have the Twins at the Dodgers. Sonny Gray, Dustin May. The Dodgers are playing good baseball right now. They're minus 144 favorites. The Twins are plus 122, over under 8.5. Overs minus 118, unders minus 104. Twins plus 1.5 is minus 166. Dodgers minus 1.5 is plus 138. For this one, I'm going to go with under 4.5 Dodger runs, minus 118. I don't feel good about it, but this is banking on Sonny Gray continuing to pitch well. Reds, Rockies. Graham Ashcraft and Austin Gomber. Graham Ashcraft cooled off after a hot start. Rockies are favored minus 116. Reds are minus 102, over under 11.5. Overs minus 105, unders minus 115. Reds minus 1.5 is plus 138. Rockies plus 1.5 is minus 166. I'm going to go with the under, banking on Graham Ashcraft to pitch better. Austin Gomber stinks, but I don't think the Reds can get to, 7 runs. Maybe this is like a 6-2 Reds win or something like that. 3:30 D-backs, A's. Ryan Nelson and Luis Medina. Let's see if the D-backs bounce back. They're minus 164. Oakland's plus 138. Over under 9. Overs minus 118. Unders minus 104. D-backs minus 1.5 is plus 105. A's plus 1.5 is minus 126. Full game over. Case closed. Phil's Giants at 3:45. Taiwan Walker, Ross Stripling. Phil's minus 120. Giants plus 102. Over under 9.5. Overs even money. Unders minus 122. Phillies minus 1.5 is plus 126. Giants plus 1.5 is minus 152. Full game over is the pick. 4 o'clock, Royals, Padres. So a lot of day games today. Carlos Hernandez and Yu Darvish. Padres minus 290. Royals plus 235. Over under 9. Overs even money. Unders minus 122. Royals plus 1.5 is plus 112. Padres minus 1.5 is minus 134. I think the total is too high. This is a hard pick. And we don't have a lot of specialty things. So I'm going to go Padres minus 1.5 / under 8.5 parlay plus 280. Just for fun. 6:30 Angels O's. Griffin Canning, Kyle Bradish. Orioles minus 144. A's plus 122. Over under 9. Overs minus 104. Unders minus 118. Angels plus 1.5 is minus 166. Orioles minus 1.5 is plus 138. Full game over. Nats Marlins. Mackenzie Gore, Edward Cabrera. Marlins minus 126. Nats plus 108. Over under 7.5. Minus 110 each way. Nats plus 1.5 is minus 200. Marlins minus 1.5 is plus 164. This is a tough one, but I'm going to go with under 3.5 Marlins runs at plus 106. Mackenzie Gore is pitching really well for Washington this season. 7 o'clock, Yankees, Blue Jays. Garrett Cole, Chris Bassett. Yankees are slight road favorites at minus 116. Toronto's minus 102, over under 8. Overs minus 105, unders minus 115. Yankees minus 1.5 is plus 142. Jays plus 1.5 is minus 172. The Yankees are really starting to turn it on here. After a slow start, split with the Rays, took the first 2 in Toronto, so they're 4-2 in 6 games. In this tough division stretch here. It's good on the Yankees for turning it around. I mean, Aaron Judge coming back is a big part of it. I'm going under 3.5 Blue Jay runs at even money. I don't think Garrett Cole will pitch bad again. Not that he was bad in his last start. It was 2 starts ago where he imploded down in Tampa. And he labored in his last start, but bounced back after a rough first 2 innings. So this is a Garrett Cole bet with the Blue Jay under 3.5 runs at even money. Mariners, Red Sox. Marco Gonzalez, Byron Belo. That was a big win for the Boston Red Sox last night. Can't be overstated. Because had they lost, I think they would have been like, see, they were a fluke, you know? They're favored tonight, -124. Seattle's +106, over under 9.5. Overs -114, others -106. Mariners +1.5 is -178. Red Sox -1.5 is +146. Full game over is the pick. Rays, Mets. Josh Fleming and Kodai Senga. Mets -116, Rays -102, over under 8.5, overs -115, unders -105. Rays -1.5 is +160, Mets +1.5 is -194. Tough one. I'm gonna go full game over. 7:45 Brewers Cardinals. Corbin Burns and Matthew Lipitor making his season debut. The Brewers are probably favored, and they are. -118. Cards are even money, over under 8. Overs -104, unders -118. Milwaukee -1.5 is +146. Cards +1.5 is -178. I'm going to go with the Milwaukee Brewers at -118 to win on the road. That is a short line for a Cy Young caliber pitcher on the mound. 8 o'clock, you have the Braves at the Rangers. I mean, you could have said the same thing with Garrett Cole. But I trust the Blue Jay offense more than the Cardinal offense, where I'm more afraid of that offense than the Cardinal offense. So that's what it came down to. So I went the Jays under instead. So 8 o'clock, Spencer Strider with Nathan Eovaldi between the Braves and the Rangers. The Braves are -154. Texas is +130, over under 7.5, -110 each way. Braves -1.5 is +118. Rangers +1.5 is -142. Nathan Eovaldi's on a roll. I'm taking the Rangers straight up at +130. Cubs, Astros. Drew Smyly and J.P. France. Cubs +136. Astros -162. Over under 8.5. Overs -120. Unders -102. Cubs +1.5 is -140. Astros -1.5 is +116. Tough one here. I'm going to go with the full game under. Drew Smyly hasn't been terrible this year, and J.P. France has actually been pretty good for Houston thus far. And last but not least, Guardians, White Sox. Peyton Battenfield and Mike Clevenger. White Sox are favored -132. Guardians +112, over under 9. Overs -104, unders -118. Guardians +1.5 is -182. White Sox -1.5 is +150. I'm going with the Guardians at +112 to win outright. Okay. Now move on to soccer. We'll go over notable results from yesterday. And we have a big soccer day today. MLS playing. Some other leagues going on. We'll start with UEFA semifinals. Inter Milan over Milan 1-0 as Inter Milan advances 3-0 on aggregate. Today, 3 o'clock, you have Man City and Real Madrid tied on aggregate right now. That is a big deal. This game's a big deal. So, Man City's -185 at home. Real Madrid's +470. The draw is +350. Tough to go against Man City. I'm going to go over 3.5 goals, though, at +148. English League Championship yesterday. Luton over Sunderland 2-0, but what really matters is that Luton advances 3-2 on aggregate. And then you have the second leg tonight between Borough and Coventry at 3 o'clock. So Borough -130, Coventry's +370, the draw's +240. They're tied on aggregate. Burrow has not played well. I'm going to take the upset here at Coventry at plus 370. Just going for something sexy here. English Women's Super League. 1:15 today. Everton and Arsenal. Let's see if that game is listed. I do not see it, so that's unfortunate. And then at 3:15, you have West Ham and Chelsea. The Women's Challenge Cup today at 7:30, you have Louisville and Kansas City. There is a lot of MLS tonight, so that's actually pretty cool. So I'm trying to find the Challenge Cup, but I can't find it. It's just weird. But I think that that's a draw if you had asked me at gunpoint. A ton of MLS tonight, 7:30, Atlanta, Colorado. Atlanta's minus 170, Colorado's plus 390, draws plus 290. Colorado's playing well despite losing to the Union on Saturday. I'm going to take them as an underdog at plus 390. Charlotte, Chicago. Charlotte's playing well. Chicago fired its coach recently. Charlotte's minus 105. Chicago's plus 250. Draws plus 240. I'm going to take Charlotte at minus 105 at home. Columbus and the Galaxy. Columbus is minus 140. Galaxy 3-1. The draws plus 280. I'm going to go with the draw plus 280. Don't feel good about it. Cincinnati and Montreal. Cincinnati is minus 90. Montreal's plus 460. Draw plus 260. Montreal's won 4 straight. Cincinnati's been playing well. I'm going to go with the draw plus 290. 7:30, Orlando against NYCFC. Orlando's plus 115. NYCFC's plus 210. Draws plus 230. I don't like how either team's playing. I'm going to go with the draw plus 230. Philly and DC United. The Union are minus 170. DC's plus 410. Draws plus 280. Union are starting around the form now that their tournaments in season are done. So I sense that they're going to be turning it on. I like over 2.5 goals at minus 114 a lot in that game. Toronto against the Red Bulls. Red Bulls just fired their coach. Toronto's plus 140. Red Bulls plus 190. Draws 2-1. The Red Bulls are playing good soccer for them. They got to win in the Open, and then they won their last game against NYCFC. But I don't trust them here to get a win. I'm going to go with the draw 2-1. 8:30, Dallas, Vancouver. Dallas is even money. Vancouver plus 250. Draw plus 220. I'm going to go with Dallas at home. Even money. Minnesota, Houston. Minnesota's minus 135. Houston plus 330. Draw plus 240. Houston's playing pretty well for them. Minnesota got the win over the Union in the Open. Lost their last game. I'm going to go with the draw plus 240. Nashville, Miami, great game. Nashville's minus 10. Miami's 5-1. Draws 3-1. Miami's red hot. I'm taking them 5-1 to win outright on the road. Salt Lake, Portland, 9:30. Salt Lake minus 120. Portland plus 270. Draw plus 260. Both teams are playing okay. I'm going to go with the draw plus 260. 10:30, LAFC hosting Kansas City. LAFC minus 250, KC 550, draw 350. Already sure LAFC isn't looking ahead to the CONCACAF. Already sure about that. I'm going to go with the draw plus 350. And then you have Seattle, Austin. Seattle's minus 10, Austin's plus 490, draws 3-1. For this one, I'm going to go with under 2.5 goals at minus 102. So that's great that we have a lot of MLS tonight. MX Liga, 11 o'clock, first leg, Tigres and Monterrey. Should be a fun game. Tigres is plus 155. Monterrey is plus 170. The draw is plus 210. Tigres in the table is can't find them. I know Monterrey's the top dog in the league. They had 40 points. But I can't find Tigres in the pool. But anyway, I'm going to go Tigres is 7th. So they're 15 points apart in the standings. Monterrey's better. I think they have value at home at plus 155. Just tough to go against Monterrey here. I'm just going to quickly check to see if we have any other leagues going on today that we are unaware of, or if any results that we need to touch on before we move on. Everybody's looks like they're playing on Friday. We did English League already. Dutch Era Devise. Ajax over FC Groningen 3-2 yesterday. We made the live bet in the game on the draw. That didn't work out. Or I didn't bet it, but I gave out a live play, which was funny. All right, now move on to golf. It's a big one. It's the PGA Championship. It's a favorite. I bet on DJing this event last year, Dustin Johnson, and it worked out. Now I'm going to go through some notable tee times here. 7:05, Trey Mullinax. 7:11, Joel Dahman, Ben Griffin. 7:16, Adam Schenk. 7:22, Nicholas Echeverria, Wyndham Clark. 7:27, Emiliano Grillo, Adam Putnam. 7:33, Taylor Hogue, Kungu Lee. 7:38, Nicholas Hojvard, Harold Varner III, Scott Stallings. 7:44, Adam Svensson, Scott Stevens, Beal Hostler. 7:49, Davis Riley. 7:55, Zahith Iglia, Kurt Katayama, Zach Johnson. 8 o'clock, Scotty Scheffler, Gary Woodland, and Brooks Koepka. 8:06, Joaquin Neiman, Corey Connors. 8:11, Colin Morikawa, Justin Thomas, Rory McIlroy. 8:17, Jimmy Walker, Kevin Kisner. 8:22, Shane Lowry, Victor Hovland, Jordan Spieth. 8:28, JT Potts and Alex Noren, Mackenzie Hughes. 8:33, John Rahm, Matt Fitzpatrick, Cam Smith. 8:39, Dylan Lingworth, Callum Tarrant, Lucas Hodges. 8:44, Lucas Donald, Adrian Murdoch. 8:50, Taylor Moore, Dylan McCarthy, Brendan Steele, 855. Davis Thompson, Matt McNeely, 901. Justin Sue, 906. Bryson DeChambeau, Jason Day, Keegan Bradley, 912. Mark Hubbard, 917. Matthew Neesmith, 1225. Sam Ryder, Brandon Wu, 1230. Cam Davis, Taylor Montgomery, 1236. Ben Kern, 1241. Hayden Buckley, Taylor Pendrith, 1247. Webb Simpson, Danny Willett, 1252. Brendan Todd, 1258. Seb Straka, Harry English, and Robert McIntyre, 103. Nate Taylor and Patrick Reed, 109. Keith Mitchells, 114. Christian Ziedenhout, Chaz V, 120. Lucas Herbert, Brian Harmon, 125. Hideki Matsuyama, Tommy Fleetwood, and Cam Young. 131. Abraham Answer, Sam Burns, Tom Kim, 136. Max Homa, Adam Scott, Tony Finau. 142. Siemens Power, Sanjay M. Chris Kirk. 147. Xander Schauffele, Dustin Johnson, Tyrell Hatton. 153. Saiwoo Kim, Stefan Yeager, and Anirban Lahiri. 158. Phil Mickelson, Ricky Fowler, Patrick Cantlay. 204. Aaron Weiss, Victor Perez. 209. Mito Pereira, Alex Smalley, Ryan Henley. 215. JJ Spawn. 220. Matt Kuchar, Taylor Gooch, Adam Hadwin. 226. Tomas Dietrich, Matt Wallace, JJ Colleen. 231. Justin Rose, Francesco Molinari, Brett Horschel. 237. Eric Cole, Nate Hardy. 242. Ben Taylor, Patrick Rogers. All right, so I'm going to go with an outside-the-box pick for the PGA Championship. This is somebody that's had success at this course in the past. He was tied for 9th last year. And the year before, he was tied for 8th. And did he play last week? Let's see if he played last week in the Byron Nelson. No, he did not. But he played very well in the PGA Championship the last 2 years. So I'm going to go big or go home with this one. I came so close with Ryan Palmer last week at 110-1. Should have cashed out. So I hit the big bet with the Spurs winning the draft lottery last night. We'll get to that. But the gentleman I'm referring to, he's 190-1. I'm going to lay a quarter unit on this, and I'm going to go with Abraham Answer at 190-1 to win the PGA Championship. A quarter unit, Abraham Answer, 190-1. That is just great value for somebody that performed so well at this tournament over the past couple of years. All right, now move on to the Masked Singer. We'll go over last week's episode and preview the finale. It should be a good show tonight. So last week was the semifinals. The California Rolls went first. There's some more clues. There was ping pong, a number 1 roll. There's beach chairs. There's horseshoes. They performed Breakaway by Kelly Clarkson. And last week, they did panelist connections, and the California Rolls had the connection with Jenny. Time on Broadway, They Remember. My guess was Styx. Jenny was the Dear Evan Hansen cast. Nicole said Hamilton and Spring Awakening. And Ken said In the Heights. Next up came Medusa. There was more clues, including a picture of Sarah McLachlan. There was a photo of somebody that she had lost in her life, twin beds. And this person performed Take Me to Church by Hozier. Excellent performance. The panel's connection was to Robin. Their voices taking them on journeys and platinums. I'm still sticking with my guess of Fergie. Robin said Ellie Goulding and Grimes. Nicole said Natalie Merchant, Haley Steinfeld, and Dave Cameron. And Ken said Dido, which was Dub. Last was McCaw. Talks about his uncertainty. He talks about doing something that changed his life, which I'll get to in a second. And this person performed What Makes You Beautiful by One Direction. And the thing he alludes to as something that changed his life was coming out. And there was also a vote sign, which I think refers to American Idol. And this is a former American Idol contestant that recently came out as gay and is a big part of the LGBTQ plus community. And I think this is David Archuleta, who was the runner-up in season 7 to David Cook. So this is who I think it is. Nicole also suggested David Archuleta, and she also said Darren Criss. Robin said Daniel Bedingfield, and Jenny said Daniel Radcliffe. And then Battle Royale comes along. The song was Runaway Baby by Bruno Mars. The California Roll went second. Cali Roll went first. McCall went second, and Medusa went third. So it was a 3-way Battle Royale. And who goes home? The California Roll, which what I thought was a surprising choice. I thought McCall was going home. But California Roll stunningly goes home. And I say that because I thought they were a favorite among the fans, and that was going to keep them in the game. And I thought they had the best shot of unseating Medusa. My final guess for California Roll was Styx. Nicole's final guess was the Pitch Perfect cast. Ken said in the cast of In the Heights. And Robin and Jenny both said Pentatonics, and it was indeed Pentatonics. So Robin and Jenny get it right. Not often where the panel has been right this year. That's why I like the new format so much. Because it's harder to guess who is under the masks, and it's a bigger surprise. So Pentatonics was it. So we have Medusa versus McCaw. And my guess is that Medusa wins. McCaw comes in second. Medusa ends up being Fergie. And McCaw ends up being David Archuleta. And honestly, I feel better about David Archuleta than I do about Fergie. But I'll be proud if it's Fergie because then I called it from the first episode. So I'm going to pat myself on the back if Medusa is indeed the one and only Stacey Ferguson. All right, now we'll talk about Survivor. We did talk about the episode from last week on the show. Obviously we talked about Carolyn and being upset with Carson and Jam Jam, leaving her out of the Franny vote. And then Danny wants to get out Tika. And then came Immunity, where they did the annual Graded Steel barricade in the ocean with the tide going up. And as the challenge wore on, it would give the contestants less room to breathe, making it harder. Even if the player surfaced from the grate, they would be out. And the last person left won immunity. And then indeed, it was Jam Jam, which had Danny thinking Carson. And then comes Tribal Council. As beforehand, Carolyn owns up to her idol, to Carson, and says that she's going to play it for him. She plays it for Carson, negating 2 votes for Carson. Heidi got 2 votes. Danny got 3 votes, sending Danny home. Into home, into the jury with Matt, Brandon, Kane, and Franny. So, superlatives. Best move of the episode, I'm going to say the Tika Tribe getting out Danny because he became a bigger threat as the game went on. Worst move, I hate to say this, but Carolyn playing her idol, because I think this all sets up for her to be in trouble this episode. Best moment, I'm going to say was Jam Jam winning immunity and Danny going to get him. And it was just a great moment for Jam Jam. Probably potentially saved him from getting voted out. So you could argue that for best move. But I thought it was an even better move getting out Danny, because the longer Danny was in the game, I thought he had a better shot of winning. And that's why I had him as my winner pick for several weeks. My new winner pick is somebody that I don't think's name has been mentioned in a vote in terms of rating off the names from Jeff, and that's Lauren. This reminds me of Gabler last year, where kind of under the radar how this person's name has yet to pop up in a tribal council vote. The first episode, she played a bank your vote advantage as a result, which deferred that night's vote to another tribal, which she did a couple weeks ago, where she gave her extra vote to Jamie, where they could potentially vote out Heidi, but that didn't work. But I think Lauren's done a good job, and I think she's a deserving winner at this point. Next out, I hate to say it, I think it's time for Carolyn. Maybe I'm falling for the previews, but her playing that idol and the game getting shorter, I think everybody recognizes that she's a threat. I feel like a lot of the audience is picking her to win. So, I think she's next out. And my guess for the winner of individual immunity is somebody that I think the other people in Vava want to get out, and that's Carson. All right, now we're going to talk about the NBA draft lottery from last night. I alluded to it earlier. The San Antonio Spurs win the Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes. So congratulations to them. I felt so strongly that the San Antonio Spurs needed to win this lottery the most of anybody, and honestly, it wasn't that close. I went through every NBA roster last night, and the Spurs were the only team that didn't have an it player. And now they are going to get one with Victor Wembanyama. So in their division, Dallas has Luka. The Rockets have Jabari Smith and Jalen Green. The Pelicans have Zion and Ingram. The Grizzlies have Ja. Even though Ja's in trouble right now, obviously, as we talked about in the podcast. You also have Portland, who has Dame. Minnesota has Anthony Edwards. Oklahoma City has Shea. Utah has Kessler and Markkanen. And who am I missing in that division? Oh, Denver has Jokic. The Suns have Booker. The Lakers have LeBron and AD. The Clippers have Kawhi and Paul George. The Warriors have Curry. And the Kings have Sabonis and Fox. That's the West. The East. The Celtics have Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. The Sixers have Embiid. The Knicks have Brunson. The Nets have Bridges. The Raptors have Siakam. The Hornets have LaMelo. The Wizards right now have Bradley Beal. The Heat have Butler and Bam. The Hawks have Trae Young. The Magic have Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner. The Bucks have Giannis. The Pistons have Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey. The Pacers have Tyrese Halliburton. The Bulls have Zach LaVine. And the Cavs have Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, and Evan Mobley. And I would say to the Spurs, before the lottery, who they have that's in it? Nobody. So there you go. The Spurs needed him, and they got him. Congratulations to the Spurs. I know a lot of people are jealous and saying they're spoiled because they had Duncan, they had Robinson, and now they're getting Wemby. That was a long time ago, and now it's that time again where they have the franchise center to build around. So the second pick goes to the Charlotte Hornets as they will either take Scoot Henderson or Brandon Miller. They have some options with their pick. Do they try to move down and get a haul? Because they already have LaMelo. Or maybe they keep them together. Do they look at LaMelo's trade value? So Charlotte has a lot of options at 2. Portland lands in 3rd. They'll presumptively pick Brandon Miller in all likelihood. And do they trade Dame and just build around assuming Brandon Miller, Anthony Simons, and Shaedon Sharpe? That's a good young nucleus to build around, and if you trade Dame for some other stuff, so that's interesting. The Rockets get the 4th pick, and maybe it's one of the Thompson twins or Cam Whitmore or somebody like that. And then the Pistons get 5, so they move down. So that's not great for the trade. Although, to be fair, they have Cade and Ivy and some pieces to build around. And same with Houston. And even Portland, if they didn't end up in the top 3, wouldn't have been the worst thing in the world. San Antonio had to be in the top 3, and arguably Charlotte too, for that matter. So, interesting lottery, and then 6 through 14, pretty much was the same. It was like Magic, Pacers. I know the Jazz were in there somewhere. The Mavs were 10. I forget who was 8th. The Magic had the 11th pick courtesy of the Bulls. Oklahoma City was 12. 13 was the Raptors, and 14 was the Pelicans. But the one pick I'm blanking on was the 8th pick. And, the Wizards. The Wizards were 9. The Pacers... the Jazz were 9. The Wizards were 8th. The Pacers were 7th. Orlando was 6th. So that was that. So interesting lottery. And we'll talk about this more with our guests tomorrow, as we'll have some guests on. All right, news and notes. We talked about the Spurs winning the draft lottery. Believe it or not, Brian Windhorst was out in Europe with Victor Wembanyama as they got his reaction to the Spurs winning the lottery. And Victor and his family were all happy. There was a picture that emerged on social media that Tony Parker posted a picture of Wemby in his old jersey, meaning Parker's old jersey. And then a San Antonio bar erupts after the team wins the lottery. Of course, it comes out right away that the Dallas Mavericks are open to moving the 10th pick. That's not surprising. It was reported after the game last night that Jamal Murray has an ear infection, as he reveals he's been dealing with ear issues since Saturday. Damian Lillard had a cryptic tweet, which had people thinking that Dame and Vic could team up in San Antonio. The Blazers missed number one by one ball as the Spurs won the draft lottery with ping pong balls 14-5-8-2, and then Portland had 14-5-8-3. Oof. DeJounte Murray still can't believe that Nikola Jokic didn't win MVP. I think we all could agree with that now. Obviously, the MVP is a regular season award, and what happened in the final 6 weeks of the regular season, Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets stopped playing defense, and they took their foot off the gas pedal, which opened the door for Joel Embiid to win the award. The other big news in the NBA yesterday is that the 76ers fired Doc Rivers after another semifinals elimination. And Doc still has the desire to coach in the NBA with the right opportunity. That's according to Chris Haynes. Mixed reaction as the Doc Rivers supporters obviously killing the Sixers. And the Doc Rivers haters are saying, yeah, right choice. Doc Rivers is who he is as an NBA coach. Good regular season coach. The king of blowing big series leads in the playoffs. I think Doc Rivers is still a good coach, but I just don't think he's a good playoff coach. I kind of feel like that about Tom Thibodeau of the Knicks too, but if Knicks Sixers was the conference finals, I would have given the coaching advantage to Tom Thibodeau. I just think he's a little bit better than Doc Rivers is at this point. And I think Tom Thibodeau gets more out of his teams than Doc Rivers. So, interested to see what's next for Doc. Possible targets to replace Doc: Mike Budenholzer, Monty Williams, and Nick Nurse, all guys that coached in the league this season. Obviously, Bud with the Bucks, Monty with the Suns, and Nurse with the Raptors. I think Monty and Nick Nurse are the best two for the job, personally. There's people saying J.J. Redick, but I would not go there. I feel like he's the next Steve Nash, Jason Kidd, where he's just a failure right out of the gate. So, I would go personally with Monty because he should not have been fired from Phoenix in the first place. I just think that owner is ridiculous and overreacting to the blowouts to Dallas and the Nuggets back-to-back years. And plus, he's a new owner trying to be the cool guy in the room. So I think Monty should be the guy for Philly. And then I'd put Nick Nurse as a 1B. I think Nick Nurse would be a really good hire. I just think things got really stale in Toronto somehow. And then I would also look at somebody like Terry Stotts. I know he's another retreat, just like Budenholzer. And even Monty's a retreat at this point. But I think Stotts would be potentially a better option than Coach Bud. I know Coach Bud won a title, But that's more Giannis being great and Kevin Durant's foot being on the line more than anything. And I think Budenholzer's become overrated over the years, personally. Kind of feels like one of those NHL retreats, personally. But I know Nick and Monty are kind of retreats at this point, especially Monty, because Monty was in New Orleans now, and then he got fired from Phoenix. But I do think Monty's the best guy for this job. I really do. And he's an outstanding coach. Adam Silver on John Morant. He said he is assuming the worst as the league investigates the latest video of Morant allegedly brandishing a weapon. I personally think that Ja's going to get 50-plus game suspension. I really do. Like I said with James the other day, he obviously did not learn his lesson. And he's just immature. He thinks he's all that, and he's hanging out with the wrong people, and he clearly needs help. So I'm interested to see the big hammer that John Morant's going to get. James Harden had a cryptic Instagram story after the Sixers fired Doc Rivers. We'll go to baseball now. The big baseball story is that the Yankees were in the news, but for the wrong reasons, but it was unnecessary. As the Blue Jays were under the assumption that Aaron Judge was glancing to his right because someone was tipping pitches. That is ridiculous, and I think the Blue Jays are just being idiots and moronic and are jealous that they don't have Aaron Judge and the Yankees do, and they are just trying to get the Yankees in trouble. And then John Schneider appears to yell, "Shut up, fat boy," as the Jays ask the Yankees third base coach to move. That's just not right of John Schneider. I know they're just frustrated and they think the Yankees are cheating, which I don't think they are, other than one pitcher, which we'll get to in a second. But the fact that people are accusing the best player in baseball of cheating is just ridiculous. Get a life, Blue Jays, like for real. But they did do right by finding pine tar on Domingo Germán as he was ejected from the game and will probably be suspended. Just like Max Scherzer was. So, and this is the same umpiring crew that caught the sicky stuff on Germán against the Guardians. And I've always compared Domingo Germán to former Yankee pitcher Michael Pineda because they pitch very similarly, tantalizing upside, and just infuriating to watch once they implode. So I've always jokingly called him Domingo Pineda, and he owned up to that name last night for having sticky stuff yet again, which I thought was pine tar. And then a judge investigation unlikely, as the Yankees' understanding is that the league will not investigate Aaron Judge's glances against the Blue Jays. And after all this drama, Judge hits a big home run yet again to center field as he breaks the maple leaf, which was very funny and good karma if you're the Yankees, and bad karma if you're Toronto. And then, of course, Blue Jays reliever Jay Jackson confirms he wasn't being careful with pitches when facing Aaron Judge, as he admits to tipping, according to Ken Rosenthal. Jazz Chisholm out 4 to 6 weeks with turf toe. As Skip Shoemaker says, that's not good for the Marlins. Jazz Chisholm's one of their better players. The New York Mets are calling up prospect Mark Vientos, who's posted a .333 average in AAA. Let's see if he sparks this Met offense a little bit, which has been underwhelming. Kumar Rocker to have Tommy John surgery. Top Rangers prospect will have TJ surgery this week. That's not good for the Rangers. Sets them, or not the team, but they're one of their highly regarded prospects back. Another big story last night was that in the NHL, new Coyotes arena rejected as all three propositions to give Tempe, Arizona a new NHL arena did not pass on Tuesday. Gary Bettman says the league is terribly disappointed after voters rejected team's proposal for new arena. I feel bad for the Coyotes. I think there's a chance they move, maybe to Quebec, maybe Houston, maybe somewhere else. Becky Hammond suspended for violations of WNBA and team policies, and the team also lost the 2025 first rounder for violating league rules. So that's not great for the Vegas Aces. It's only 2 games, and then the loss of the first rounder could be a big deal down the road. We'll talk about this with Jeff Maglicetti when we have him on tomorrow. The Liberty Wave D.D. Richards, as she was the number 17 pick in the 2021 draft. That's not great. Devontae Adams' latest Instagram story is he posts a picture of Raiders GM Davey Ziegler after he criticized team's offensive direction. Dalvin Cook gone from Vikes' Twitter account as he was replaced by Alexander Madison on the banner photo amid uncertain future. Yikes. That's not a good sign. If things like that happen, you're bound to be gone. Prospect Emmanuel Okoye, a 4-star guy on the NFL Academy team, chooses Tennessee over USC and Texas Tech. So it's a decent get for them. And FBS players in EA's college football game, as eligible players can opt in to have likeliness featured in video games set to release next year. All right, last but not least, my best bet of the day brought to you by FanDuel. Very interesting things, but one jumped out to me right off the bat. I literally gave this pick out immediately as I saw it, but I'm going to make it my best bet. Best bet's 0-2 on the week. I'm going to try to make it 1-2. It's a matinee game. I'm taking... Oh, my God. It went up to minus 122. Ugh. So you know what? I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to lay the whole unit, minus 122 over 9. I still feel pretty good about that. All right, so over 9, minus 122 between the D-backs and the A's. All right, so that's it for the show. I'll be back tomorrow recapping everything and looking ahead to everything. Tomorrow we have the NHL Eastern Conference Finals starting as well, and then we'll recap Survivor and Masked Singer. And obviously the Masked Singer's the finale tonight too. I hope you guys have a great day, everyone.